Greetings, adventurers. Delver here. I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to talk about this. I really don't want to talk about this. I probably shouldn't talk about this. But it happens to involve something I care very deeply about and touches on a lot of anxiety I've been having for the past year and a half, so I kind of felt obligated to say something. That, and it made me so pissed I nearly turned into a Neeric, and I needed to get it out of my system. So, Clownfish TV. If you haven't heard of them, good for you. They're a pop culture rant channel, kinda like The Quartering or Geeks and Gamers, you know the type. They upload like 3 videos a day, reading random articles and ranting about how SJWs are ruining pop culture. They're probably best known for their obsessive hatred of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, and their spat with Kevin Smith over Masters of the Universe rumors. I've made no secret of my disdain for these two, in no small part because YouTube won't stop recommending their videos to me, so I'm usually apprised of all their inane tabloid raggery whether I want to be or not. Normally I try my best to just ignore their videos, but sometimes I see stuff like this. Now, My Little Pony means a lot to me, in case you couldn't tell, and this friggin' video legit had me seeing red. Not only is it a perfect encapsulation of why I despise this channel, but I'd go as far as to say it's even more odious than the usual dreck they put out, for reasons I'll get into later. So without further ado, let's go over the video itself.
We're going to talk about the new My Little Pony series that's coming out, My Little Pony: A New Generation!
Oh my god.
So right off the bat, you can tell they really don't care. A lot of these channels like to pretend that their outrage is coming from a place of genuine passion, but sometimes they come across a story they care so little about that it's impossible to hide how performative they are. What exactly about the title is supposed to be so groan-worthy? It's literally a new generation. That's how this franchise works. And it's also a new generation in a narrative sense, since it takes place after Friendship is Magic. Is Star Trek: The Next Generation a cringy title now? Come on.
It looks not that great.
It really doesn't. And then you hear the write-up, it's...
exactly what we thought it would be.
No, it's actually worse than I thought it was going to be. And I can draw some parallels. I'm going to draw some parallels for you.
Not sure how it could be worse than they thought, considering the new write-up is almost exactly the same as the initial one. Also, parallels to what exactly? I don't know if they ever actually address this in the video.
Anyway, so that came and went, and now, you know, we had Friendship is Magic, which became very toxic because all the alt-right Yahtzees started watching
it became very toxic because the media said so.
Yeah.
Remember that. That's going to be important later.
So now we're going to make sure. That you know these ponies are good ponies.
Yes, and you know, how are we going to do that? Well, how we've done it since 2015. We're going to walk back equality and, you know, equal rights and everything else just to start all over again.
And here we go. What follows is the epitome of WTF. First, Neon says the show is about diversity and inclusion, then he says it sounds racist because the 3 tribes are segregated. Apparently that's meant to be some kind of gotcha or something, but I'm not exactly sure how. Are they trying to say that depicting racism to critique racism is itself racist? 'Cause that sounds more like an SJW take if you ask me. Something tells me they didn't put much thought into this. Then again, what else is new? But anyway, then this happens.
The unimaginable has happened. Equestria has lost its magic. Earth ponies, unicorns, and pegasi are no longer friends and now live separated by species. But idealistic Earth pony Sunny is determined to find a way to bring enchantment and unity back to their world. Teaming up with open-hearted unicorn Izzy, the pair travel to faraway lands where they encounter the likes of charismatic and brave Pegasi Pip and Zip, and the ever-responsible fellow Earth Pony Hitch. Their mission is full of misadventures, but these new best friends each possess their own unique and special gifts that may be just what the Ponyverse needs. Ponyverse now. To restore magic and prove that even little ponies can make a big difference. You mean like Twitter?
Excuse me, what?
Geeky then proceeds to launch into a bizarre rant about, well, just listen.
Because, let's be honest here, the vision, the mistrust, the whole segregation by species bullshit, you can track back to pretty much Twitter. Are they going to be split apart by Trotter instead of Twitter?
Trotter.
Because this was oh my God, this makes me so mad. So for the last 2 or 3 years, people like us have been calling out the bullshit, the divisiveness, the way they're trying to turn people against each other. They're trying to bring back like segregation laws and stuff like that, in California, so they can get away, justify with being racist towards, certain groups of people over others. And all this crap's going on, right? And now they're trying to go on about how all these species were separated and they're all racist against each other and how they're going to unite each other again. So what, you're going to try to say this is how we're going to unite everybody again when Twitter turns and tries to unite everybody after they're the ones that caused this disruption in the first damn place?
She's frothing mad about My Little Pony because, quote, the division, mistrust, and segregation bullshit can be traced back to Twitter, and for the last 2 or 3 years, people like them have been calling out this bullshit and divisiveness on Twitter, and California is trying to bring back segregation laws. So now Twitter is making My Little Pony to explain how Twitter is going to turn around and unite everyone after they caused it. What? Pardon my French, or would that be Apple, but what in fucking tarnation are you on about? What the hey does Twitter have to do with the freaking My Little Pony movie? They proceed to throw out some random buzzwords about how every pony is racist because of systemic privilege, even though that was never mentioned or alluded to in the write-up, before remarking that the synopsis is too heavy for a kids show, which is very ironic considering they previously dissed Friendship is Magic for not being dark and scary enough. Anyway, yada yada, lecturing the toxic man babies, yada yada, more about how Twitter is exaggerating issues and fostering division. Then they claim the new pony designs look like the short-lived G2 line, presumably in an attempt to preemptively write them off as a failure. Then more ranting about the media dividing people, still not sure how this is G5's fault. Then they compare the whole thing to someone lighting their kitchen on fire so they can put it out and act like a hero, because that totally makes sense and isn't at all indicative of completely losing the plot. So yeah, if it wasn't obvious, these two don't really care about MLP. Most of the video is just them ranting about Twitter and haphazardly trying to tie the new movie into that. It's a prime example of what happens when these channels who build their entire brand around complaining suddenly have to talk about something where they have nothing substantial to actually complain about. But that's just typical YouTube chicanery. You might be wondering why I find this video in particular so nefarious, for lack of a better term. Well, that comes down to the one potentially legitimate issue the video brings up. The fact that it does seem a little weird to go from the happy and harmonious ending of Friendship is Magic to, well, the complete opposite of that. I mean, the very premise of the movie would seem to more or less undo Fem's ending completely. And while Sunny's quest to bring magic and friendship back to Equestria may have been inspired by her father's stories about the main six, that would also be the perfect setup for the film to subvert our expectations and have Sunny learn that the main six weren't actually all that great, nor that they were somehow responsible for the current sorry state of things. Basically, some fans are worried the new movie is going to give MLP the Star Wars sequel treatment. Now personally, I can't think of any logical reason for them to do something like that, but at the same time, I can't exactly rule it out either. The setup is there, they've got the means and opportunity, and while I don't want to assume any ill motive, stuff like that does seem to be in vogue these days. And for the more jaded folks, the wording of that initial press release certainly didn't do it any favors. Consider also that for a while now we've had a certain group of politically motivated troublemakers trying to stir up shit in the fandom, working in conjunction with a media complex all too eager to try and link the fandom to the alt-right. No, I'm not joking, and yes, it's just as ridiculous as it sounds. And now, here comes a movie with the potential, however slight, to cause a lot of controversy within the fandom, controversy that those troublemakers and press outlets would have a field day with. You can probably guess where I'm going with this, and more to the point, so does Clownfish. They smell something bad brewing, and like the vultures they are, they want a piece of the action. Videos like this are them circling, waiting for shit to hit the fan so they can jump in and milk it for all the YouTube drama they can get. Or worse, and here's where that nefarious part comes in. You see, channels like this aren't known for backing down or admitting when they get things wrong. And they've already bet on this movie being a woke train wreck or whatever, so I honestly wouldn't put it past them to try and create the drama themselves if it fails to materialize on its own. In the end, I guess I'm just trying to warn people, especially those in the MLP fandom who might be worried about G5. Be wary of Clownfish and other channels like them. If worse comes to worse and the movie ends up causing a big mess, don't let folks like Clownfish control the narrative. Don't let them speak for the fandom. Don't be fooled into thinking they want to help us or defend us. They don't. They don't care about MLP or the fandom. They just want culture war drama to feed their channel. Any help or coverage they give will only make things worse. Believe me, I know this from experience. And on the flip side, if the movie turns out to be good, don't let them get away with claiming the fans hate it. Don't let them invent a fandom war where none exists. And on the off chance that they do admit they misjudged, don't let them claim it as a victory against woke Twitter or something and try to start drama that way either. I guess what I mean to say is, don't let the fandom become like the new Equestria. For whatever reason, we've got bad actors from all sides with their eyes on us. Now, more than ever, I think it's important we remember why we're all here in the first place. Because we love MLP and its message of kindness and friendship. Don't fall for the siren song.